ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Welcome to all the devotees for the evening Bhagavad Gita reading program. So I offer my humble obeisance to all the devotees. Please bless me so that I can glorify a message of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, text 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Padda Yogamunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagrama Yatagnasyasi Tashrunu. Word meanings. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Lord said, Mayi, to me, Asaktamana, mind attached, Partha, O son of Pritha, Yogam, self-realization, Yunjan, practicing, Madashraya, in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness, Asamshayam, without doubt, Samagram, completely, Mam, me, Yatha, how, Gnasyasi, you can know, Tat, that, Shrunu, try to hear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material, spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yoga. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge of Krishna and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yogas are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmajyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness, yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrunu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. Therefore, by hearing from him, one received the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Srinvatam sakatha Krishna punyashravana kirtana hridayantasto hiyabhadrani vidunoti shuhasrutam nashtaprayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki tadarajastamo bhava kamado badayaschaye chetayetairana viddham stitam sattve prasidati एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद भक्ति योगतः भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशया क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge as he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees. He becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness and becomes enlivened by devotional service and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamsayam samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yutapadakamram Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadhanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratpise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। श्री भगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगमुञ्जन्मदाश्रया असंशयं समग्र मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु। The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Hare Krishna. So, this is a very special verse, the first verse of 7th chapter. Srila Prabhupada has given, I think this is one of the verse from Bhagavad Gita where Srila Prabhupada has given maximum number of lectures. Srila Prabhupada has given, I think, 30 to 40 lectures on this verse. So, till 6th chapter, as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purports, we can see the different yoga systems are being described. But in the last verse of the 6th chapter, as Krishna tells, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samye yukta tamo mataha. So, Krishna is telling, of all the yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental, loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. So, there are different yoga systems. Yoga means which connects something supreme. Like it's a connection to the Supreme. So, there is a very nice statement here Srila Prabhupada makes in the purport. If we see, different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So, sometimes like few days back, one of our students was asking a question. So, we practice this, like Bhagavad Gita. What about if other religions are there? If they are practicing, are they also progressing? Are they also progressing in their, God consciousness? So, if anybody is practicing sincerely their religion, because in every religion is this, the goal is same, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, the ultimate object is, if somebody is practicing God consciousness or not, he has to develop attachment to Krishna, attachment to God. If that is not there, then it is Shrema Evahi Kevalam. So, if somebody is sincerely practicing God consciousness in any form, so they will make progress. Like for example, if I take a line like this, the path. So, what happens? Somebody may be here, somebody may be here, so they are all progressing. But if they are sincerely practicing, in the same way, we have in the Bhagavad Gita, broadly, there are 4 yoga systems are mentioned. One is Karma Yoga, next Jnana Yoga, then comes Dhyana Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. So, among these 4 yoga systems, Krishna is telling, Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmana. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. That means one who is doing sincerely devotional service to me. So he is the topmost of all the yogis. Okay. So now we can this translation, if we see, because it's a very important translation, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So what does it mean here? The main thing here, if Krishna is saying, two things. One is Mad Ashtraya and another is Asamshayam. Means you have to take my shelter and you should be free from doubt. Asamshaya. So how do we develop this one? Because it's not easy until unless we have sincerely seeking for Krishna. It is not possible because we will have so many doubts. In the Bhagavad Gita introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes, the two qualifications required if one has to understand Bhagavad Gita. One is perfect inquiry. Means he has to ask questions, related to the self. The second thing is he should have respect towards Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna. So one should have these two qualities minimum. Then one can able to understand Krishna. Perfect inquiry and submission to the Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let me read purport little bit and explain. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything reveals to the person in Krishna consciousness. So what is this Krishna consciousness? For example, if we see, for the word Krishna, Prabhupada gives a different definitions in Bhagavad Gita and also in the introduction to Bhagavatam. In one of the, recently we were reading introduction to Bhagavatam with children, so we came up with I think 5 to 6 words which Srila Prabhupada uses in describing Krishna. One is Krishna, and the second is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the third, Prabhupada uses the word absolute truth, and the fourth he uses the word Samam Bonam. What is the meaning of Samam Bonam? Samam Bonam means one who is the highest good, one who does highest good, topmost good. That means whatever he does is good. For example, if I am trying to help somebody, I am trying to benefit him, But sometimes out of my conditioning, I may also do harm to somebody. But if Krishna, he can never do harm to anybody. What does it mean? Even if Krishna is coming and killing somebody, that is for his benefit. Even Krishna is coming and punishing somebody, that is for his benefit. Like Krishna came and killed Putana. But that is he has given the topmost position like a nurse. You can see each and every demon Krishna killed, they are all been blessed. So this is the called highest, this is called Sammam Bonam. And obviously if Krishna comes and blesses somebody, as Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhuna vinachaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So even vinachaya dushkritam, if Krishna comes to kill the demons, but the demons in that process get benefit. Okay, that is the another meaning of Sammamanam. And one more word Prabhupada uses is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So what is the meaning of Satchit Ananda Vigraha? Sat means eternity. Here Prabhupada discusses these two aspects. Sat means eternity. So the person who has realized that he is Brahman, everybody says, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am not matter. But Mayavadis misinterpret as, that when you reach the platform of Brahman, you are also equal to God. But nowhere it is mentioned in the Shastra that Aham Param Brahmasmi. That is not mentioned. It is just mentioned Aham Brahmasmi. What does it mean Aham Brahmasmi? I am also Brahman. So Brahman is something which is eternal. That means which does not have death, which does not decay. Which does not decay. So in this, this is the level a person who is a Jnana Yogi who reaches. He reaches only to this level. For example, Prabhupada makes a very nice statement here. Okay, so I think there is a statement. Okay, not here. I think in the purports I read somewhere. Okay, so means the thing is the one statement is like we have different levels. One is a Jnana Yogi, one is a Dhyana Yogi, another is a Bhakti Yogi, Karma Yogi. So for whoever achieves, for them they feel that is the topmost. But for a Bhakti Yogi, he can see how relatively all other yogas are situated. All other transcendentalists. Like Prabhupada defines, there are three kinds of transcendentalists in the Bhagavad Gita introduction. Who are they? One is a Jnana Yogi, one is a Dhyana Yogi and Bhakti Yogi. So what is the meaning of a transcendentalist? The definition of transcendentalist, one who has to go beyond bodily concept of life. That is the first and foremost definition of a transcendentalist. If one is there on the bodily concept of life, thinking that I am this body, I am the creator, I am the enjoyer. If somebody is on that platform, it's not possible to even start this yoga systems. One has to cross this basic platform that I am not this body. Once comes out of that, then somebody will progress and comes to a platform, realizes I am Brahman. Then further if he makes progress, he realizes that no, I am Brahman and there is a Paramatma who is situated in each and every living entity, who is conscious. So this person is conscious of the Paramatma aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that same Paramatma has a person who has a form. When somebody realizes to that, that is called Bhagavan realization. You know, Vadanti tat tattva vidas yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdate. So these are the three levels of realization. Now, if we continue, so this is a nice couple of shlokas Srila Prabhupada gives from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a very, very, very important section in the Bhagavatam. You know, divine and divinity. This is, I think, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we can see here how a living entity is purified, is being described here. How a living entity can be purified. We all know how Srimad Bhagavatam has descended after Krishna, Krishnesvadhamopagate dharma gnana dibissaha kalau nasta drushamesham puranar kadunoditaha. So how after departure of Krishna, this Bhagavatam has descended, which is non-different from Krishna. You know, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also told, Aradhya Bhagavan Vajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. You know, Ramya Kasit Upashana Vrajavado Vargena Ya Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumardo Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatrada Nanya Paraha. Means how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advocated this Srimad Bhagavatam as the topmost Purana. You know, because many people, they don't accept the Srimad Bhagavatam as the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. So that is the reason Srila Prabhupada has given, recently I was hearing how Srila Prabhupada had utmost faith that Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna when he was going on his journey from India to America on the order of his spiritual master. The only things which he has carried is Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, he has ensured that he has boarded in Kolkata, and he ensured that the Bhagavatam sets, you know, which has to be carried, are boarded from, I think, Kochi in the Kerala. Okay, because Srila Prabhupada journey, he went from here to Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Then from where he has come back to Kochi. Then he took Arabian Sea and he went to this Jaladuta went to this New York. So Srila Prabhupada ensured that Srimad Bhagavatam he is carrying, and before that he has made a preparation. You know, we can see a lifetime in preparation. Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, the chapter, so where he has spent tirelessly, you know, in translating in Vrindavan, especially in the 1956, around 60s. So he has ensured that he has translated this Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, 3 volumes. He used to write, type, then go to Delhi, get them printed, then binding, then distribution, going and collecting the funds for printing. So how Srila Prabhupada has utmost faith that if Srimad Bhagavatam is, if people are able to read Srimad Bhagavatam, surely there is a transformation in their hearts, you know. And this all purports, these are very nice purports which are written in the 1960s, a powerful, this book. So I'll just read few, this 5 verses are there here. These 5 verses translations, and we will discuss little bit. Shrunvatamsa katha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hrudayantasto hyabhadrani vidunoti shushrutam. In these 5 verses, all the, like, step by step, what kind of a transformation will come is being described here. So what is the first thing? The first thing is hearing, you know. So we were discussing today in the class also with our children, there is four sources where we can get knowledge. The knowledge can be acquired from four ways. What is there? These four: pratyaksha, anumana, shabda, and pramana. These are the four ways. So what does it mean? One is pratyaksha. This is through direct perception. And most of the knowledge what we get is through direct perception. And sometimes it is correct, sometimes it is incorrect. It's not that like mostly knowledge we get through direct, but many times, sometimes we don't get the right thing. It's not that, like it says, na, seeing is not always believing. The second is anumana, logical inference, which is the second process of acquiring knowledge. What is the logical inference? Means that I compose a hypothesis and I do some experimentation and I come up with some results, and I propose. So this is based on certain logics. Like if we see in the physics, there are so many theories defined by the different scientists. So a scientist will define a theory, and next scientist will come after a few years. Then he says that so this part of the theory is correct, this part there is a mistake. So he gives further explanation. So all these things will go like this. This is called anumana. Then another process of getting knowledge is also called pramana, through histories, recorded histories. This is the third one. So the best and the most accurate way of getting knowledge is shabda, through hearing. So we can see here Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna, hear from me, tat shrunu. So this is the most basic way of understanding knowledge, a most accurate way of understanding knowledge. Before Srila Vyasadeva came and wrote all the Vedic scriptures, so the spiritual master just used to speak and the disciples used to hear and they used to understand. Depends on the capacity of a person who has ability to understand. Based on that, the spiritual master imparts that much knowledge. A person who can understand quickly, he can be educated more. And who does not understand, who is slow in understanding, or so he will be employed in that kind of understanding where it's required. So in that way, people are also easily classified. We see Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, so like that. It's not based on the birth. So this teaching is mostly based on how a person progresses. Now we can see here, the most important thing is Shravana, hearing. Then acting on that one. As the Navada Bhakti, here Prabhupada also mentions, the first and foremost is Shravanam, then Kirtanam, then Smaranam. So it always starts with Shravanam. It is here it's called Shrunvatam Sakatha Krishna. So when that message goes, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees who have developed the urge to hear his messages. That means once we start hearing the message from a pure source, the source should be pure, which is an example which is given is milk, which is always pure. It's considered to be nectar. But if that is touched by a lip of a snake, then it is poisonous. So in the same way, the message of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, should be heard from a pure source. Okay? And which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. This is the one more where Srila Sachinandana Maharaj tells that these three processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, through these so this process, a devotee can bind Krishna in his heart. How? So Maharaj tells that if somebody is started hearing, he can bind Krishna with a rope, like a thread. Like we make garlands with a thread. So like with that thread, one can bind Krishna in his heart. When somebody recollects, like smaranam, remembrance that, then Krishna can be bound with a rope, which is like we try to, bind the cows, like cows, calves, they are like, this cattle. So that kind of way. But when somebody chants, kirtanam, when somebody recites the holy name with full devotion, then Krishna can be bound like, somebody can bind with one iron chains. Means by doing sincerely this kirtanam, means like first Shravanam, then kirtanam, properly chanted. We can see here, when properly heard and chanted. When we chant, Krishna is bound in our heart, then he purifies. Here it is written, Paramatma in everyone's heart, benefactor. He removes the unlimited, he cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. Next, this is the most important. Every day we chant this shloka, Nasta prayesha badreshu, Nityam bhagavata sevaya, Bhagavati uttama shloke, Bhaktir bhavati naistake. What does it mean? Every day, by regular attendance in the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes nicely, and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. When very nice statement Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport, human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee Bhagavata or the book Bhagavata, one gets gradual promotion to the path of devotion. So this is the something which is magic, which happens. We can see in each and every life of a devotee, this can be perceived, experienced personally. There are so many impurities. One who takes shelter of a devotee through his association, and when starts hearing, attending classes, and also doing special service. Because when Bhagavatam means, there are two kinds of Bhagavatam. One is book Bhagavata and another is person Bhagavata. So if somebody comes to person Bhagavata, he will be directed to read book Bhagavatam. And when we go in this month, book distribution month, many times devotees go and distribute books. When book Bhagavatam goes, when somebody sincerely reads that, then book Bhagavata directs them to person Bhagavata. So this is a cycle, they are non-different, book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam. When somebody sincerely takes shelter of one, they will be guided to the other. And how? We can, this is something beyond our mundane logic. This is the power of potency of transcendental science. Next, so the first is when we start hearing about this message of Godhead, then the second step is the service. The most perfect example Srila Prabhupada gives here is Sri Narada Muni. How Narada Muni has taken shelter of Bhakti Vedantas who were doing Chaturmasya Vrata. So he used to regularly go and sit and hear from them and try to serve them and honor their remnants. Through that, he has perfected his life. He has got the greatest position, preacher, who is spreading the science of devotional service, the message of Krishna to everybody. We can see he has disciples, Narada Muni. Narada Muni has disciples, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Mrugari, So many people we can see how Narada Muni goes and preaches them. Next comes. So the next is the service. So when somebody started hearing the message of Godhead, then he started serving them, then what happens? Tada rajastamo bhava kamalo badayaschaye chetayate ranaviddam sthitam sattve prasidati. So these two things are over. Then the third thing is all the misgivings are disappeared. Mainly disappeared from the heart, and one can be situated in the mode of goodness. Because if somebody has to practice Krishna consciousness, as Krishna is telling, be consciousness of me. You should be in my consciousness. If we have to be Krishna conscious, we have to practice, we have to try to stay in mode of goodness. Because Krishna consciousness can happen when first one starts controlling mind. Mind can be only controlled if somebody is in goodness. Srila Prabhupada writes in the introduction that a mind can take decisions only if it is in the mode of goodness. If somebody is not in mode of goodness, then they have to submit to their mind, dictates of mind. Then mind starts dictating. See, mind is something which is very, very difficult to control. Even it's not for us, even Arjuna is telling by example, Krishna, I can control wind, but mind is difficult to control for me. Krishna is telling, so Arjuna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita to Krishna, Vayuriva Sudushkaram. I can easily control the wind. Just I can release one weapon and the wind will come to still stand. But I will not be able to control my mind. So Krishna is telling, no, you have to do Vairagya, Abhyasena and Vairagyana. You have to try. So mind constantly makes so many plans. It wants always something. Even I am sleeping, my mind is working. It is making so many plans, so many thoughts are coming and going. So mind can be controlled only if I am started practicing my actions are in mode of goodness. My activities are in mode of goodness. That means, when I sleep, when I get up. All my four things, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. All these four things should be in the mode of goodness. Then only I can control mind. So this is a big topic. I have been asked to stop by 6 o'clock. So I'll just conclude in 2 minutes. So the first thing is when I should start hearing about Krishna. The second thing is the serving Bhagavatam, serving book Bhagavatam and serving person Bhagavatam. When I started, then the third stage what comes? That I will be free from mode of passion and mode of ignorance, and I can be situated in the mode of goodness. Then what happens? Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatha bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayase. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from material association. So then one gets one tries to understand Krishna. One tries to understand Krishna, and it's not that I can understand Krishna. I try to understand Krishna, but Krishna will be revealed to me. It is not that I will understand one day Krishna. No. Krishna, it's a revelation. Vedic knowledge and God realization is a process of realization, not by one's own endeavor. Just by one's own endeavor he can do it. No, one has to endeavor for it, but it's finally the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata beach. So the last verse then comes, thus the knot in the heart is pierced, all misgivings are cut to pieces, the chain of fruitive actions is terminated, one sees the self as master. Then at one point we understand how Krishna as Paramatma, as Bhagavan is the full controller, and how I am the servant. He is the master. So that is the, when it comes, so that is the what this verse Krishna is telling, that O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So when we follow this process of hearing about Krishna, then serving book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam, then by staying in the mode of goodness, away from passion and ignorance, then in that process all misgivings are gone, then Krishna tries to reveal to us. Okay? Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Any questions, comments, suggestions?
What is mode of goodness?
Yes, Prabhuji. Mode of goodness, any actions which I am doing, okay, they can be classified into three modes. Like if I am just the way I am sleeping, okay, somebody, they sleep by 8 o'clock and they get up at 2 o'clock and they take bath, they try to chant holy names. So if somebody is getting up in Brahma Muhurta for practicing God consciousness, you can say he is in the mode of goodness. Somebody sleeps night 2 o'clock, gets up at 10 o'clock, so they are in mood of passion and ignorance. Like I can, then what kind of foodstuffs I am taking, how I am staying, like we can see here, how this room is like very divine, the kind of pictures, the way things are arranged. We can see sometimes a room which is like not properly lit, and where dirty pictures are there and not arranged properly. So everything can be classified into modes. So I have to learn to stay in the mode of goodness if I have to understand and practice Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada has given us basic rules and regulations. For example, the four rules which we follow, four regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit exit. These four, if somebody sincerely practices, he can come to the mode of goodness. Then these are the no's, these are the don'ts. What are the do's? Trying to chant regularly Hare Krishna mantra and keeping oneself clean, waking up, stay in the association of devotees, follow all the rules and regulations which are there. So when we start practicing, we can come to the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is must. Once Burijan Prabhu, which is like, which is early 1966 or 67, Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture. He asks, Srila Prabhupada, you are saying that we should stay in mode of goodness, but it is said that we have to transcend mode of goodness. So Srila Prabhupada said that because mode of goodness is also kind of a binding. If somebody is staying in mode of goodness, but if he is not progressing in devotional service, and if it is not, then that is also not, because that may give punya. That's all. If we see, there are many pious Brahmana families, if we go to many places, so they follow all the rules and regulations. We don't see them, they get up early in the morning, they do all the things, but not for the pleasure of Krishna. That's because everybody, whole family is doing, they are doing. So they don't offer that result to Krishna. Okay, then also one is born. So Srila Prabhupada was asked, Srila Prabhupada said that we have to transcend mode of goodness, but one has to act in the mode of goodness. So by acting in the mode of goodness, by following the rules and regulations mode of goodness, slowly we can transcend mode of goodness. So, okay, thank you. So I think there is some Prabhupada lecture now. In the other room, please. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
We have transcend to the mode of goodness. That is when that happens. You are explaining this.
Prabhuji.
How, when we get transcend is get out of get above the mode of goodness, right?
Get above the mode of goodness means that that we are not like yeah, like for one example which I can tell is that we can see Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was 7 days, he heard from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he taught Lord Chaitanya Prabhu, then Lord Chaitanya converted, make him devotee. Okay. So then what happened? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carried a pot of Mahaprasadam to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He just gave to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya just got up, he took thing and he took it. So till that time he was trying to be in the mode of goodness. But the moment he understood this is transcendental, so he took it. He did not say, I have not taken bath, I am taking Jagannath Prasadam. So like that. So when we come to that realization, then we understand what is transcending mode of goodness. Okay, this is one small example I can say.
Prabhuji, how mode of goodness related with controlling the mind?
Oh, because the mind, our mind, two ways, Prabhuji. Mind is something, it requires constantly, it has to take decisions. You know, one example is that you see there is an automation, belt is there, where some objects are coming and there is a detector which detects whether it's a good or bad, like a milk packet or biscuit packet or something we see in the industries. So mind is like that. Constantly different thoughts are coming to my mind. So sometimes I accept and I reject. Accept, reject. This is what my mind does. If I see my mind does only two things. Okay, accept, reject. Should I talk to this person? No. Should I, should I purchase this? No. Like, the decision is doing, should I go to this place or should I not go? Should I chant? No. Should I sleep? No. Like, constantly mind is something which requires constantly different thoughts are coming, it has to take a decision. Okay. Now, when it has to take decision, on what basis it takes decision? And how this information is coming to mind? This information is coming to mind through 5 senses. Okay. The 5 senses. So, my eyes are giving some information, my nose is giving some information, my ears are giving, my tongue is giving, my skin is giving. These are the 5 information mind is receiving. Once it is receiving, so it is compared to a chariot which has 5 horses, and mind is the pivot where all these horses are tied. So then this has to be controlled by a person. That is the intelligence. Okay. So now if intelligence is not there, if I leave these 5 horses, so they will try to, ruin me. I am the passenger who is sitting. Okay. So now when I am in the mode of goodness, the mind listens to the intelligence. The intelligence, like I can take right decisions. Why problems come in this world? Because I don't take right decisions. So the decision making capacity to controlling all these things, that power, the controlling power, because you see some people have so much self-control power, some people doesn't have. They are, they don't have controlling power. Even small desire comes, they are wicked. They are surrendered to that. Why? Because they don't have that controlling power. That controlling power comes if I am staying in mode of goodness. My actions are in mode of goodness. That means what are my actions? I have to do only 4 actions: eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These are my actions. If these actions are in mode of goodness, that means if I am sleeping early, if I am waking up early, my schedule is like that. Okay, and if I am eating only some Krishna prasadam and the which are the food items which are not in the which are not very spicy, which are not very pungent, so like this. So there is like eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everything has different modes. If I am doing that, then I will get that willpower to control my actions. So that is the reason the mind control and goodness has a action. Okay. Like you see, mostly it is not like only spiritual organizations. Most of the business people, who have success in their life, they all get up early in the morning, and they have a schedule which morning sometime they give it to themselves, like either chanting or doing some yoga or doing something for themselves for certain time. Then they give it to their job or company or these things. So like that, a person who is in mode of goodness, the morning we give it to ourselves. So for us, Prabhupada has given a process. So what we have to do it. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Thai Gaur Premanande.